guess we're live. I don't have my phone over here yet. So anyway, hopefully welcome everyone out there in video land. This is Doug Wilkerson with Saturday Night Live Life Recovery here in our live meeting. And we're starting a new month. The 12th month means we're starting the 12th step. And I'm going to read that real quickly. And that is, having had a spiritual awakening. Anybody here had a spiritual awakening?
Yes.
Yes. Hopefully we all have. And but that awakening that you had, is that your last spiritual awakening? Okay. No, because it's awakening. And that's because you're growing and learning and developing. Would you agree with that?
Yes. Work in progress.
Work in progress. So we're better than we were, but we're not as good as we're going to be, right? So having had a spiritual awakening, and we've all had one, and you out there in TV land, come on in. You've had a spiritual awakening too. I have to believe that. Whatever level you're at, and so having had a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps. Now, maybe your spiritual awakening wasn't because of these steps, but maybe it might be. So, but a spiritual awakening is significant, and I want to commend you on that awakening. To continue this, we try to carry this message to others, and this is pertaining to the 12 steps, this message of the 12 steps, and to practice these principles in all of our affairs. And that's so important, not only to learn, to hopefully grow in our understanding, which would bring us to that place of spiritual quickening, but then practice what we've learned. How many times have we learned something and didn't practice it? What happened? Nothing. And also, we can let it slip. We can drift. We can forget. And then, bam, here we are again. With the same problem we had that we already learned from before. So like I was talking to Jimmy a while ago, I said, so what did you learn? You know, and he said, he told me what he learned. So, and we all get a chance to learn. Or, if we don't learn, we get to do it again. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
And how fun is that?
It's not.
So, this spiritual awakening is so important, and that's what we're talking about tonight. Is our mission, and part of our mission is to have a spiritual awakening, and to be able to take that to others and help them have the same thing, and that would be a good thing. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
All right. So we're ready for some music?
Yes.
All right. So let's do it.
2, 3, 4.
Sun's gonna shine on you today. Hope you don't take you away.
No man on the corner, I can hear to you in my bed. Never tried for it, cause I found it when it's not done much. Say, Lord, you love me, forgive me, let me know for myself. Child, won't you let me know that you love me? Desperate need of some new clothes. Keep my old ones and tell me what comes. The good heart breaks for those kids. Child of a mom who's on the road. You might say all the time, there's another crown I can wear the This is the air I breathe. This is my daily me when this life is over. I go away to a home God's one that's too sure. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh, glory. I'll fly away.
Thank you, guys. We're ready. Go forward. I got your switch.
What's up, mate?
The one in the bottom, just pull it up, it's not tight.
Oh my God.
There you go.
It's got a little more height.
Is that comfortable, or are we gonna just do it like this?
You like it right there.
You can? You can do whatever you want.
Oh,
You're
my
a boss.
Hello, my name is Corey.
Hi, Corey.
Hi, Corey.
These are the 12 steps for life recovery. 1, we admitted that we were powerless over our problems and that our lives had become unmanageable. 2, we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3, we made a decision to turn our wills and our lives over to the care of God. 4, we made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5, we admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6, we were entirely ready to have God remove these defects of character. 7, we humbly asked God to remove our shortcomings. 8, we made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9, we made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10, we continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11, we sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God, praying only for knowledge for His will for us and the power to carry it out.
Yes.
And 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to others and to practice these principles in all of our affairs.
Thanks, Corey.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good job, good job.
Willie.
sorry, I didn't do that.
That's all right.
Just throw
Just
that
pull
on the lower.
it, no, this crank, just pull it down, just.
There we go. Is that good? Nope,
That's
that's
right.
not good. Hold on. How about there? We here at Saturday Night Live, we'd like to acknowledge Clean Time. If there's anybody that needs a bracelet for Clean Time, we have white ones for today or less than 30 days, orange for 30 days, green for 60 days, maroon for 90 days, blue for 6 months, yellow for 9 months, glow in the dark for 1 year, gray for 18 months, black for 2 or more years, silver for 5 or more years, and gold for 10 or more years. Anybody need one?
All right. John, can you take care of that? Let's give him a hand.
Which one do you need? A year?
Year.
Good job, man.
Congratulations, man.
Years glow in the dark.
Let it be here. Just believe.
Matthew, you're a year also?
Yes.
Okay, so we got 2 years, and then we, 6
What?
months, okay, 6 months, all right. What's 6 months?
Blue.
Blue for 6 months. Congratulations. And John, we have one that we'll need, just for today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jimmy. On the blue.
6 months.
All right, go ahead.
How we all doing this evening?
Also,
Good.
what's the highly effective in all situations?
Our mission,
Shouldn't you?
we have had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps.
Wait a second.
Okay.
Are you having trouble over there, John? Looking for blue? Where's the blue one you had? Here's the blue one over here if you need it, and I'll just need a different color.
Got blues here.
Okay, good. It's Jenny, right?
Ginger.
Ginger, sorry. All right. Start off by reading the step itself.
Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we try to carry this message to others and practice these principles in all our affairs. And we're doing our mission.
Our mission.
Our mission. Sounds simple, don't it?
Yeah.
A life set free from all addictions by the Lord is a powerful sight to behold.
Hold it right there. So the first 4 words were what?
Life set free.
A life set free. Okay. Has anybody found any freedom?
Yes.
All right. Congratulations. Good. So that's a good thing. Would you agree with that? All right. Okay. Go ahead, Willie.
When we practice these principles and share our experiences, people will see the glory of God in our lives and gain hope.
Got a question here. So, do you believe that you can have this freedom?
Yes.
Do you believe that you can have this freedom?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Good. And how do we maintain this freedom?
By doing our everyday steps,
By doing the steps,
Daily effort.
daily effort. Good.
denying yourself.
If I do what I did yesterday, I'll probably get the same results I had yesterday.
Do what yesterday?
If I do what I did yesterday, I'll probably get the same results today. as
That's
I did
right.
yesterday.
So,
If I keep doing what it kept me clean yesterday, I'll probably be clean today.
so let me refer you back to the first part of this sentence here, or actually the second part. No, it's the first part of this sentence. Won't you read this sentence again, and I'll ask that question again.
When we practice these.
What? What did we say? Practice, what do we practice?
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
These principles,
What do we practice?
These principles.
Okay, good, so, and if we practice these principles, go ahead, Willie.
and share our experiences,
And then it's suggesting that we do what? And why do we want to share our experiences?
Help others.
That helps remind us where we're at.
It helps you to see where you're at, and it also helps somebody else. Have you found that out to be true? Have you ever heard things about yourself come out of your mouth that you were surprised to hear? In a positive way, of course. I'm talking about positive way,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
right? Okay? And so sharing an experience, and sometimes we have an insight when we're talking about some of our experiences, things that we've learned, things that we're growing in, sometimes the difference between where we were and where we are, but until we're sharing it, maybe we didn't really come to awareness of it. Do you agree with that? How many of you found that out to be so? Okay. And the rest of this, go ahead, after experiences.
people will see the glory of God in our lives and gain hope.
So what do you think that the rest of that statement means? Anybody?
But seeing us being sober or whatever.
See that you're sober?
Yeah, by seeing us, they see that we're not struggling too much and we're doing pretty good. And it gives them hope too.
Yes, that if you can do it, then maybe I can do it too. You're different than you were, okay? And when they see that it's happening for you, then what they might think what?
Be happy with
It could happen to them. There you go. And this statement here says that glorifies God. When you do better, God likes it. Okay? And God, hope you don't mind this statement, when you do better, that makes God proud.
Right. Yeah.
Okay?
Nobody
And
likes-
do what?
Nobody likes to make their daddy disappointed.
Very good. Very good. I like that. So go ahead, Willie.
We know from experience the depth of suffering, affliction, and brokenness. We know the pain of being enslaved to our passions and blinded by our denial.
Okay, hold right there, please. Is this true for you?
Yes.
I had one half of nod there. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I need to read it again.
We will read it again. Go ahead. We'll read it again.
Okay, back up. We know from experience the depths of suffering.
Wait, stop right there. So we can process. Anybody here know the depths of suffering?
Oh, yeah. Yes, definitely.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Affliction,
Anybody here know the depths of affliction?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
and
Go ahead.
brokenness.
And brokenness. You know the depth of your brokenness. Anybody here have had any? You recognize that?
Every day.
I'm looking at Will here.
I'm starting to see it, just how broken I was.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Try not to answer too much.
Oh, because you want to, you hold on to it till later. Well, what if we go ahead? If we get you to go ahead and say it now, you'll probably have something else different later.
I probably would. I don't like to, I would really like to hear myself talk, so.
So now back up and read that sentence again, and then I'm going to ask the question again.
We know from experience the depth of suffering, affliction, and brokenness.
Go ahead.
We know the pain of being enslaved to our passions and blinded by our denial.
So, is this true for you? Do you know this? Do you think you know it all?
No.
Okay, but you know some, right?
Little bit about,
Every day I learn
little
something
bit
new.
about everything.
Every day do something good, good. And that's the truth. Okay, and why do you think that is?
We forget a lot.
We forget a lot. That's one. That could be one reason.
We don't want to see our own faults.
We don't want to see that. That's that denial there that we was talking about, and we don't want to see it sometimes.
We're not passionate about change.
We're not passionate about change. Okay, that could be true, right? Right.
Right?
Right. Okay. What else?
Being lazy and not learning nothing new or trying to improve. Just
Fit-
it all.
Yeah,
Big
once
getting-
you get your own-
Getting content, satisfied, or lazy, and start drifting. Start doing the old stuff that you used to do. The little innocent old stuff, which leads you to the other stuff, right? Am I telling the truth?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's all right. In fact, it's even, after a little while, it's all right. Just one time is okay.
It's not,
No, it's not.
because once you do that one time, you think you can do it again and again and again, and it'll be okay, but it won't.
Yes.
It'll be right where it was at.
So, how does that affect your life to recognize this brokenness, this suffering, recognizing that you have been blinded and you've lived in a place of denial? How does that affect you right now?
Well, it helps me be grateful for what I do.
Good.
Yeah.
What about you, Willie? I thought I might as well put him on the spot since
Yeah. Well, it puts me to where I believe that keeps me to know where I come from so that I don't go back to it.
Okay, good. Has I got another a question tied to the other question at this juncture, and that the question is, has your addiction been good or bad to you?
Well, it's been good too.
I learned a lot from it,
You learned a lot from it,
well, from the recovery process.
from the recovery process of it.
I thought it was good, but then it turned out to be bad.
Okay.
You see how much better it is without it than you do with it though.
Why do you think we got pulled into it?
Because we wanted to fit in.
Wanted to fit in, that's one reason.
I wanted to feel a different way than what I felt without it.
Wanted to feel differently or escape that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to feel the pain or depression or the shame. Yeah,
Alter your state, emotional state,
and
And-
personality.
personality.
I had myself convinced that it helped my pain.
It helped your pain.
I had myself convinced of that for years.
And you don't have to answer this, but are we talking about physical or emotional?
Both.
Both, okay?
In reality,
But mainly physical.
in
Mainly
reality, it just made it worse.
Yes, it did.
And they both go hand in hand.
Oh, they can.
Pain
They
causes
absolutely
physical
can.
pain.
And because some research says that 95% of our illness is psychosomatic.
Yeah.
And and the fact of it is, we live in a world that, in the best situation, we are afflicted with trauma,
Yeah.
and that affects us. In fact, research says that trauma alters your brain. Did you know your brain damaged?
Nobody else doubted it.
We all are. I think everybody in the world is brain damaged.
Yeah, we're all brain damaged, and we all have mental issues to some degree or another.
If we're not brain damaged from the trauma, we're brain damaged from the substance.
Yeah, that we put into our bodies. Yeah.
So let me ask this question, kind of on top of that question, tying to that question. So now this may be a challenging question. So was our addiction all bad?
No,
No,
No.
first it started out socializing and
yeah, it was
having
fun.
fun.
And then we got to a point where we didn't feel normal if it wasn't on.
Without it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And some people, it was to help them, to shift them in their emotional state, to help them feel more comfortable with their peers, to be accepted. Some, they used it to, as you were talking about, pain management, emotional and physical. And it was a coping mechanism, because reality is that we have to find some way to get ourselves to be physically and emotionally resynchronized in ourselves, instead of being disaltered or dysregulated is actually the best word. Being dysregulated, trying to get ourselves regulated, and that regulation is a state of peace and comfort and joy, freedom, when it comes right down to it. And so we're trying to do that, and it's a natural thing. But if we use unhealthy means to do that, then what does that do to our life?
One, it kills our bodies.
It can affect us in a negative, healthy, mental and emotional, physical, relation, financial, social, you name it, it can get it, right?
Yeah.
So it's doesn't mean that you're bad. It means you were looking for a way to help, but the trouble is, we because of this fallen world, oftentimes it's easier to find the bad thing before you find the good thing. Would you agree with that?
And we all, like, instead of building people up, we get negative with them, and then you just buzzkill them. And make it worse.
And usually we get negative with them as a coping mechanism to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything else to say before Willie goes on? Did you have anything else you wanted to say, Willie?
No, not on that part. No,
Okay.
no, you covered it all very well.
Okay.
We have endured our season of grieving. We can relate to those who struggle to be free. We also know that there is more to life than bondage.
Okay, hold it right there. Do you agree that there seems to be a season of grieving? Do you understand what that means? What do you think that means?
It's hard to say goodbye to your friend like that, because it is your friend. So.
And you're talking about the addiction.
Yeah.
Right, and we think it's our best friend,
Yeah.
because it's been there with us a long time, through all kinds of stuff, right? You know, it always pushes its way into our life.
We always have room for it too.
Yeah, we looked for it, and we welcomed it.
Oh, yeah.
We thought it was great.
Yeah, we did.
Rearrange our schedules for it.
We rearranged our schedules and our lives, right? Is this the truth?
Yeah, I think it's compounded too, because not only do you lose the substance, but you're left with all the emotion that you were shoving down, and you lose who you thought were friends. You have to let go of family members that would enable or help keep you there. Like, in order to get better, you have to cut people off. And so there's a lot of grief with that, because you lose connection, even with yourself, so with other
Well,
people and yourself.
I was going to talk about ourselves, because we lose ourselves.
Yeah.
We abandon ourselves. We complain about other people abandoning us, but we abandon ourselves. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
And we lose ourselves. We forget who we are, even if we actually really consciously even knew. Yeah, John.
We also learned a strong lesson.
Say it again.
We also learned a strong lesson in how to
deal with stuff, but we need to get to the root base of the problem instead of dealing with the surface issues.
And so, let me use different words here, and I think this is what you mean. Correct me if I'm wrong here, John. You're saying that the problem really the problem that we're dealing with really presents something that we need to address in our life to get better. Is what you're?
Yeah, we need to address the problem instead of everything that is stemming from the problem.
So the problem is our friend. The addiction is not our friend.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that statement?
At the time, it was my best friend though.
Well, at the time you thought it was your best friend, because it altered your state. Okay,
Maybe you see things differently.
it did a lot of things. Okay, to you and for you, and even against you. But it was okay because that's where we were at the time. But the things that we covered up, kind of what you was talking about, Vanessa, the things we covered up and avoided and denied or we didn't like, those are still things that we need to recognize because we don't get better. So this is what recovery is about. Let me just make sure I get this. Recovery is not altering your behavior. Recovery isn't abstinence. Okay? It's not. Okay? Recovery is you change. There's something different. And when you change, all those other things start to happen in your life. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, we do that all the time. And the trouble is, oftentimes, our relapses occur because we haven't went on and did all of the work that we needed to do, intentionally not, or not, you hadn't let yourself become aware. Okay, I'll give you a little bit of alcohol. But the fact of it is, it's if we don't deal with our stuff, our traumas, our problems, our difficulties, are we ever really going to get better?
Nope.
Are we really ever going to get free?
Nope.
Are we ever really going to have that better life? Are we?
No.
Because if we don't, we're stuck. We're a biblical story here. The children of Israel wandered in the desert for 40 years because they were not willing to go ahead and deal with what they needed to deal with.
Yep.
Does that make sense? And they all had to die off to be able to go on in. A lot of them had to die off. Most of them did.
All except two.
You're right. All except two. Go ahead, Billy.
In Christ are healing and freedom, clarity and mercy, beauty and joy.
Read that line again.
In Christ are healing and freedom,
Do you agree, disagree?
Agree.
Go ahead.
clarity and mercy.
Do you agree, disagree?
Agree.
Hey, let me ask you a question. What does clarity mean?
Just a clear picture of your situation,
Of your situation? And is that all? Just your situation?
all of it, the whole,
Your part too.
Feelings.
Your part? What else?
You know, after about 18 months clean, it's like a fog lifted out of my eyes, I could actually see. And the things that I thought I believed in before, all of a sudden I didn't believe in now. And it was the clarity of that spiritual awakening I believe that I overcame, that I took out some of that self-centeredness that is the core of our addiction, which I want, trying not to say too much, but
I want you
what
to.
you like hearing your voice.
the reason I started using was to be around people, but in my addiction, it separated me from everyone so that I was alone and it could tell me how to be and who I was. And instead of me having control over myself, it automatically became me. And I didn't know how, when I got clean, I didn't know what I liked, what I didn't like. I didn't know nothing about myself at all, except I hated who I was. So, the clarity that I got came after a lot of effort into this. And when it did, what I started seeing was that the actual effect that the drugs and alcohol, or whatever the case may be, overeating, whatever it was in my life, mine was crack, that actually controlled me, and I didn't control it as much as I thought I did. I went out of my way. I wouldn't move into a house unless I knew the neighbors would agree with my lifestyle, and preferably they could supply it. I wouldn't go get a job unless I knew that I didn't have to worry about a piss test without somebody telling me. I wouldn't work nothing but night shifts, which work now, and you know, that's a whole different thing. But my whole life revolved around my addiction. While today, you know, I go to meetings, and I do things that I can tell people about what I overcome, because it's really hard once you've overcome that and you can see that you've actually overcame it, not to tell people about it. And I'm not perfect by any means. I still get angry at my dog, and I get angry at myself. But the difference is today I can actually recognize why I'm angry. I'm so grateful to be an addict.
Excellent.
If I wasn't an addict, I wouldn't ever got to the point where I can see the core of my selfishness.
And that's one of the things I was pushing for, was that part of clarity, knowing where I should go, need to go, and that I'm able to go, but I may not be able to fully be able to do it all at once, but I'm able to recognize I messed up again, but that's not what I want to be. That's not who I really am. That's what I did, but that's not who I am. And that's some of that clarity. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's what I was kind of working towards. All these other things are good, and you know, through step 1 through step 10 are about helping you identify and work through and process. Step 12 is learning to shift your focus and begin to implement a new way of living. And then step 12 is coming to the place that you recognize that that's not who I am. And really the truth of it is that's you were never that person, but that's the one you acted like, in my opinion. Does that make sense?
That was your protector.
Your persona, your protector, you know, your identity, your presented identity, your facade, you know, your mask. Joe Johnson wrote a message here and he says, it started out to feel good, and it turned into a mask, feeling bad. So, anyway, good stuff. Go ahead.
When Jesus came to earth, he had a mission, which was expressed in these words in Isaiah chapter 61, 1 through 3.
Now, hold on. This was his mission. I want you to hear this. This is his mission. This was his mission. This is what he came to do. Now, I know that's what we're talking about. I know Willie said that, but when I was working on this, it was something about I needed to make sure that I understood this was what he came to do. This was his mission. Okay? All right, go ahead.
The Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is upon me, for the Lord has anointed me to bring the good news to the poor. He has sent me to comfort the brokenhearted and proclaim that captives will be released and prisoners would be freed. He has sent me to tell those who mourn the time of the Lord's favor had come. And to all mourn, he will give a crown of beauty for ashes, a joyous blessing instead of mourning, festive praise instead of despair.
This was his mission. And my question to you today is, which part of his mission that was stated here, and this is out of Isaiah 61, 1 through 3, which part of this mission jumps out at you that you can connect with?
Despair.
Despair, okay?
I missed it.
Okay, all right. Well, we're gonna read it again. How about that?
Okay.
Now I'll ask the same question. Which part of his mission does it resonate or connect with you, or you connect with? Because his mission is for the entire world, but a piece of this is specifically for you. Does that make sense? Go ahead.
The Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is upon me, for the Lord has anointed me to bring the good news to the poor. He has sent me to comfort the brokenhearted and proclaim that captives will be released and prisoners will be freed. He has sent me to tell those who mourn that the time of the Lord's favor has come. To all who mourn, he will give a crown of beauty for ashes, a joyous blessing instead of mourning, a festive praise instead of despair.
Okay, so which part of that mission jumps out at you?
The captain and in prison will be set free.
Okay,
If we're going to talk about addiction, that's really what I see
okay,
my addiction as.
good.
Poor,
Somebody said something?
yes, the poor.
The poor?
The message of hope to the poor.
Okay, good, good. Matthew, you act like you want to say something?
Yeah, it was probably the poor, like, like physically poor, and spiritually. So,
Spiritually poor and physical poor. Financially, physically, spiritually. Okay, good, good. And this is part of his mission, that he came to make a change there, right? To set us free. Okay, all right.
I would say the anointed.
Anointed. Okay,
But I feel like, just like with the fish and the loaves, you have to be broken before you can multiply. And so, I guess in my mind, he makes it, might not be his plan that you get messed up in this stuff, but he allows it, and he makes it work for the good, and it works in your favor and his favor because you're anointed. Does that make sense?
well, I know what you said. Your idea to start off with, I like to speak to that. I like to talk to that, and that is because, see, that there was an original plan that got messed up in the Garden of Eden. Okay, and so there was a fallen world. So our ancestors were messed up and broken, and so throughout the time between then and when Jesus came, God had a plan to be able to get redemption into the earth, and his plan here was to redeem us, to bring us into this place, to help us to deal with that brokenness, because we start off broken, okay, and so we have to have that. It's kind of like, this just popped in my head. It's kind of like cars that come out off the line, okay, that they're supposed to be good, they're supposed to be great, but as soon as they're off the line, they figure out there's stuff wrong, and they start having patches and fixes and recalls, right? Changes, updates, okay? Computers, we have updates all the time, and patches and so forth and so on. And in a way, this was this was the reset for us, and this is what he came to do. And he doesn't force us. He doesn't, you don't have to take your car in to get to do the recall, okay? Just like you don't have to have line up with what his mission that he's done for us. And so some of us, we try to fix it on ourselves. We don't, we are raised to be self-sufficient and independent, and that's a good thing until it's not. until we, just like Apostle Paul, he tried to be self-reliant. You look at 2 Corinthians chapter 1, where he finally ran into a hard place when he went to Asia. He thought he was going to die. He didn't see any way out of it. It was death. And it was because he said he was there to learn to totally rely on God. And that was to stop being self-reliant. Not that his skills and talents weren't valuable and important, and that's what God had put into him for a purpose, but he had to get something lined up. Anybody here have anything that needs to be lined up? Yes, Will?
No, I was just saying, yeah.
Oh, okay. And see, and Apostle Paul, the guy that wrote most of the New Testament, had to do it. Man, before he became a Christian, he was trying to serve God with his whole heart, and the way he was doing it was killing people. Right?
Yeah.
He thought it was a great thing. And God spoke to him even while he was killing people, even when he was killing Stephen. Right? But he didn't fully listen. But I believe that God left his mark. Did God ever leave a mark on you before you finally made the turn?
Yes.
Said, hey, you need to listen, you need to look, you need to see.
Oh, he has,
Yeah. And then finally you made, because he revealed himself to you. He continually reveals himself to you before. And I don't know. We think we know where the transitional point is in our life, where we turn things around. We think we know when the spiritual awakening takes place. But I say we have no clue where the spiritual awakening started taking place until we were aware of the spiritual.
I think there's multiple spiritual awakenings.
Do what?
I think there's multiple spiritual
Absolutely.
And I don't think it was just what we thought it was at the time. I think it was something else. I think God used it for our benefit.
He said, and basically Vanessa said this, Romans 8:28, that he will cause all these things to work together for our good. Doesn't mean that that's what he wanted you to do, but he can work with that and work through that. And oftentimes our brokenness caused us to do and be what we did, right? And so, and he understands that, and he can take that and work with that and cause it to work out for our good if we are willing. All right, Willie, you're sure taking a long time.
I know it. I hope I'm doing good too, though.
I don't know. What do you got? You think he's doing okay?
Yeah. he's doing great.
This mission
Hi there.
has been. Pardon me.
I was just saying hi to the guy that came in.
Oh. Hi.
Aloha. Hi.
This mission has been passed on to us. Some people talk about preaching the gospel, but may alienate those who need the good news the most. We are in a unique position to share our experiences, our strengths, and our hopes in a way that broken people can understand and receive it.
Why do you think that is?
Because we're broken people. I was like, why are we talking about broken people like they're
but it's talking about being able to relate with broken people, okay? And the reason, and why can we relate with broken people? Because we're broken.
Because you're not better than anybody else.
That's absolutely correct.
You got more time than brains.
I agree with that.
I mean, I'm glad you smiled on that.
And so we have an advantage. I had a friend of mine, many years ago, that he was a counselor and had a counselor's office, and he asked me to go to work for him. And I said, "Hey, I don't have a degree. I can't do that." He said, "Yeah, you can." I said, "Well, why? Why do you think that?" He says, "Because you've dealt with a lot of your stuff." He said, "I had professors and teachers that were teaching me in university that hadn't." I said, "Well, thank you. That's a fine compliment, but I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing." And so, but anyway, I thought that was a very revealing statement. And some people hide, as we've been talking about addictions, people hide in addictions, but some people hide behind their goodness, their
Excuse.
well, it would be an excuse, but their self-righteousness,
Their social niceties.
their niceties, they are able to follow a acceptable system that cloaks up their stuff. So it's kind of like a different form of
Functional addicts?
functional addicts, or they may not even be. Well, trouble is most people don't think you can be addicted to anything but substances and behaviors. And the fact of it is, addiction is a mechanism to help us to again to try to get us re-altered back into some state of positive norm, and that could be again acting out this self-righteousness or holiness or accepted behavior, and they're able to do it at some time, but not all the time, right? Because that's when things get blowed up. Yeah, John.
It's a way to help us cover up what we don't want to deal with.
Yeah.
Like I said before, cover up the base problem.
Right. I had a friend one time that came to me because he was having some severe problems with drinking. This has been many years ago, and I helped him deal with it. But later on in years, he learned to manage it. Okay, but he still drank, and I talked to him about that. I said, "Would you tell your brother that that's okay?" He said, "No." I said, "Then why would you continue to do it and be an example for him?" He said, "Because I feel like I need it." He used other words, but basically that's what he said. And his younger brother came up many years later, and he had some same issues, severe. And we have to be careful. You know, have you ever had the thought? We were talking about helping other people that were broken. Have you ever heard and about looking at you? Have you ever thought about that people are watching you?
Of course.
They're watching
Just
you.
lead by example.
To you know. Now you may be paranoid and think that everybody's watching you. But we're talking about they're so anyway, all right. Anything else? Am I done? Oh, I wanted to touch on this, and I know we're about to run out of time, but this statement here is that jumped out at me is the Lord's favor has come, and I did some extra study on that, and that favor, if you looked at the Hebrew word, the Strong's word, it's 77522. It's favor, goodwill, acceptance. Okay, that time has come for you. Later on in that scripture, which I don't think we read, and he said this is a year, but then he said that he will have a day of vengeance, and that's the day that there will be a reckoning. And a lot of writers contrasted the difference between God's day of favor, which is a year, and the one day of that he will have to deal with situations, his vengeance. But it's the acceptable day of the year, and it's where we are able to have his favor, his goodness, and his blessing. And so, and that's right now. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think we have it every day,
That's right now. That's right now. You're right. Every day.
because he died for our sins.
Until that day, that time is no more, and then that would be the time of that day of reckoning. You done?
I'm done.
Will, are you ready?
We'll see what happens. Good job, Will.
Thank you, Willie. Now, this is the reflection time, and he's going to ask some questions and reflect.
But first, I want to thank everybody for showing up, okay? Because I really don't want to do this alone. And as a matter of fact, I can't do it alone, so thank you for being here.
Good, very good.
Thank you for your hospitality.
Questions for step 12, our mission, Isaiah 61, 1-3. The first question is, how have I passed through the pain and despair of enslavement to addiction and moved into healing and freedom? You waiting for me to answer? Because normally you answer or ask a question, so,
Well, this is your first time in a long time, so I was going to be really easy on you. I got questions, but I was going to let you talk first.
I'm not used to easy. As a matter of fact.
Okay, then I.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm not scared. See, because truthfully, I worked through this week and I lost my book and I probably gave it away, to be honest. And I'm gonna go through what is called real life experience here instead of what I got out of the book itself. So it says, how have I passed through the pain and despair of enslavement? Well, my addiction, it controlled me, I didn't control it. As a matter of fact, the last thing I ever wanted to do was change what I felt comfortable with, which was that stress and chaos and that lifestyle of, I was a rebel, because as I grew up, it was taught to me that a rebel was the exception to the norm or society, and that was what I looked up to, because I was raised in the east side of St. Louis, and those that tried to follow the law got beat up a lot, but the bigger rebel you was, the more you was accepted in the community in which I lived. I was also one of 5 white boys there, so not to make it about race, but you know, I had to do what I had to do to fit in, or I was more acceptable to being treated differently, I'll say. And I used to think of that in one of them plantation mentalities, like I was treated wrong or whatnot because of the situation I was in. But today what I realize is I would never be the man I am today if I didn't go through what I went through then. And what I am today is I have no doubt that God could take me through anything. No matter what I am facing, God is there.
Good, good.
Anyway, I moved into the healing and freedom process. Well, the biggest way for me to get into that healing was to admit it. And when I worked these first 11 steps, it was great. And it helped me, that the 10th step was my favorite, to be honest.
And I know a lot of people say that they like the second, third, or the first step, but I really like the 10th step, because that 10th step is a daily inventory of what I could have done better. Because I realize that I am far from being perfect today. So I'm gonna make a lot of mistakes, but tomorrow I can make a lot of corrections as long as I'm doing the 10th step every day. So that freedom came from admitting that I had a problem. The healing came from seeking God as a solution instead of myself. I've always been taught that I was a man, that I had to be self-sufficient, and I had to do things that men do. But the things that men do as a child and the things that I do today are different, because I understood through these 12 steps that primarily everything that I believed before was wrong. And until I opened up my mind to think that there may be a different answer than the way I felt and I thought, then I was never going to get nowhere but where I was already at.
Good. So my main question on that question was the very first, how have you passed through it? How have you passed through it? You haven't touched that, but how?
Painfully. It
How
was
have you
very
done it?
sore. It was painfully. It was not easy. I struggled a lot. I
Good.
come out looking a whole lot better than when I went in.
Good.
When I went in, I had one pair of clothes and I had no hope. I was a hopeless dope fiend, and today I'm a dopeless hope fiend. I keep saying that because it's what it is. I came in with an addiction that controlled me, and today I've got a savior that can help me through anything that I face. There is a big There's a big difference. From being controlled to being loved. I hear all the time that, I used to say all the time that, I don't know what love is, but I know what love ain't. I'm never gonna say I know anything fully, but I will say, I'm getting a clear picture of what love is, because, you know, God is love, and the word is God, and as I read this, I realize that His grace and mercy is the only reason why I have the opportunity to grow today.
That's good.
Well, I look old on the camera. See, that's a coping mechanism if you didn't know. When I start getting serious, I like to make a joke. I like to take the attention off of what the problem is and just make anything that goes around. But the truth is that I'm starting to recognize these things. I'm starting to try to do better today than I was yesterday. And I cannot expect to be perfect, because my expectations on myself or others is always, and I do mean always, what brings me back out to get a new clean day.
But you know, humor is a better way to manage things than other ways.
But it's not good when you use it for a coping mechanism to keep
All coping mechanisms are insufficient and incomplete. But if you can have healthy ones, it starts you down a better path.
That's true, but if I'm looking for the answer from others around me, because God talks through other people, whether I want to or not,
Right.
I can't divert the attention off of what I'm looking for a solution for.
That's true.
So the character defect is not because I make people laugh, it's because I'm taking what I really need help with, and I'm diverting it to something to where I can change the subject and focus on everyone else, because I'm looking at your character defects and I can't really be working on mine.
Well, you're basically hiding.
Yes, I am
That was a
definitely
way of
hiding.
hiding, and if you recognize that, then that gives you an insight what you need to do.
You know, when I was in my addiction, the last thing I wanted to do was stand up here and let anyone see me, let alone be on the internet, which I don't even know who's seeing me, and I don't really care today because it doesn't matter to me. because I'm not so trapped off into my self-centered, selfish, own obsessive desires that I think that if I say too much or I'm seeing too much or I let too many people too close to me, then all my secrets are going to be revealed. I couldn't even look in a mirror when I got here because I knew what I had done. Today, I don't own a mirror, but I found a way to get rid of the problem. No, I'm just kidding. See, character defect. I'm just kidding about that. I do have a mirror today. I've also got a puppy. So I just got this puppy. And that's responsibility, which is another thing that I ran from in my addiction. Commitment, responsibility, acceptance. These are things that were the last thing I wanted to do. But if you ask me then, I thought I looked good and I thought I was doing good to those around me. And I was working on my 4th step today and I started to want to say that my addiction spawned from my dad drank, my mom used it, all my uncles used it, and then I went, I was just doing a list, and I got to thinking about just what you were saying earlier. My kids got to watch me use. It wasn't right. No matter what I went through, I didn't have to do the same thing for them. Now they are using, for the most part, and if I wasn't an addict, if I didn't go through what I went through, I get emotional sometimes because this is real, okay? If I had that perfect life that I wanted, if God gave me everything I desired while I was in my addiction, before I got in my addiction, I would have never known the value of what it took for you to get to where you are at. When my son called me and asked me how to get clean, asked me if I would help him get clean, that told me God was working in my life. Now, I didn't put the expectation that he would, because I know how hard this is. With that being said, I also know that it takes a lot of work, there's a lot of pain involved, and if we're not really willing to get clean, we will not get clean. Right. Anyone here that is God more than a week clean is wanting this. Now, the difference is when we look at this and we see that we can fall down and get right back up, we don't have to wallow in our mistakes no more. Right. That we can be focused on what we did accomplish. If I've got one day clean, I've already won more than a lot of people out there in this world right now that think they can even do. I remember in the bathroom praying for just a fraction of what I've already gotten. As far as clean time, I never in my wildest dreams would have realized what I've really got in life today. From the outside looking in, you may not see the differences that I see from the way that I am allotted to treat people around me that's so much different than when I got here. I am 5'2.5". I don't want to forget to have. And when I got here, I came in from St. Louis and I thought that I had to prove I was a man to everyone because my size and my stature, and that's what I was told all my life. And today, I don't care what anyone thinks of me about the physical aspects because I understand that if I'm going to rely on you to tell me who I am, I'm going to cut myself shorter than my height really is every time. Right. Because I'm never going to make everyone happy. Right. However, if I could actually get into these steps and I can pray for God's will and knowledge of his will for my life on a daily basis and actually pay attention, he's going to show me how to be a man of stature, not of height. And if you ask me, I'd much rather be a man of stature than someone that's tall. Because tall, you'll hit your head, ceiling fans, I don't know. I've never been tall. But what I do know is sometimes through working these steps and asking for God's will in my life instead of my will for what I think I should have. What I realized was that I can be happy with me. No matter who I am, no matter what I look like, I don't have to dress up no more. I don't have to have a Harley. I don't have to have a new car. I don't have to have a woman on my arm for me to feel like I am somebody that I am already. I am self-confident today. I'm very happy with who I've become, and I am very anxious on who I'm going to be, because at no point in this am I going to be done growing, because if I sit still, the rest of the world's going to go around me, and I can't allow anyone else to pass me because I got this pride. I'm just kidding, it's not about pride. I do have pride, but I have pride on what I've been able to overcome with God being able to show me the way, give me the strength and courage, and most importantly, I cannot stress enough how much grace and mercy God had to give me for me to accept myself to where I could actually move on. And I hear people say that, but the truth is, grace is not punishing me for what I deserved, and mercy is the forgiveness of that. So when I can treat myself as good as I treat those around me, because if you came to me and said you're an addict and you're trying to quit, even in my addiction, I had sympathy for you. But when I tried to quit and I screwed up, I couldn't forgive myself to the point where it gave me an excuse to keep going back out there. And I can't allow that today. I have to accept myself for who I really am. Anyway, you want the next question, or you want me to keep going? I like to go all night. When I say I like to hear myself talk, what I mean is I like to talk.
Well, let's go ahead and touch the next question.
Okay. 2, having had a spiritual awakening after being set free from my addiction, am I excited or hesitant to share my experience with others who are struggling with addiction, and why? Did I not already answer that question?
I think you touched on it, but maybe you can,
Okay.
communicate to the group here and see if they have anything they want to say about that.
Okay, having had a spiritual awakening. First, you got to have a spiritual awakening. And then you got to understand that it will not be the only spiritual awakening. I only get spiritual awakenings when I pay attention to the changes in my life. After being set free from my addiction, now that only happened through accepting Christ. And am I excited or hesitant to share my experience, strength, and hope with others who are struggling with addiction, and why? So let me explain, or not explain, let me say this. I have volunteered to go into a jail once a week. I know I'm going to get out, but the last place I ever wanted to be was in a jail cell. But now I voluntarily go into a jail cell once a week so I can share my experience, strength, and hope. There's another part on this, but we're already running over, so I don't want to say too much, but I will. Okay, I'm lying. I want to say a whole lot, but I'm not going to. So does anyone have any questions for me? How's that? I think that's what Doug's after.
How long have you been asleep?
I can hear you.
How long have you been asleep?
To be honest, I wasn't going to bring that up because I was going to make it a surprise. But Tuesday I will have 2 years clean.
All right. Congratulations.
Anybody else got any questions? I mean, I'll say this, okay? My experience with drugs they never started out bad. I don't think anyone in this room ever thought to themselves that they would want what the end result was when they started. The lie started well before I ever put it in my body. The lie started when I looked around and all the addicts and alcoholics around me act like they was having such a great time, and that's what I wanted. When I started, I wanted to be like them, carefree. And when I used for the first time, I did not have any worries about anyone but myself, and myself kept busy by whatever. You know, we've all know what addiction is. But the truth is, if I would have known half what I know now I would have never allowed my addiction to take control over me. As a matter of fact, I would have never took that first one. So when it says here, in step 2, am I excited or hesitant to share my experience, strength, and hope with others who are struggling with addiction, and why? Yes, I'd love to share my experience of strength and hope, and more importantly, I like to tell people that's not using. If you're trying to make that decision and you don't know, there's a reason why people go out of their way to tell you how hard it is to quit and how easy it was to get started. It doesn't take a man to use drugs. It takes a real man to take self-control and understand that to be a real man, I have to take responsibility of my own actions. And to do that, I first have to have control of myself. And I've never had control of myself as long as I put anything in my body that was mind or mood altering, except for coffee. Now, I do love coffee. I'm not going to give it up.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give it up. Some things are bad for you and worse than others. Now, I don't eat a lot of sugar. I'm trying to watch my diet. Not because I want to be healthy or whatnot, but because once I got to this age, I started seeing the wear and tear that I put on my body, on the things that I thought were so much fun in my addiction. I realized that, but by the grace of God, I don't have physical and mental problems I see a lot of people that come out of addiction have. Even after we get clean, a lot of us will start having these mental and physical problems for the first time in our lives. And really, it's not for the first time in our lives, but we're not covering these feelings and emotions to where we start recognizing the problems we have. Because with the drugs in my body, all I could see was this clean pathway to get more. I never seen a way out. I never thought that I could, because once my addiction got me alone, it told me I was worthless and that I could not, that I wasn't worth Christ, I wasn't worth recovery, I wasn't worth nothing. And today I stand here and I'll say, I have nothing that anyone else in this room could get, and most of us already have probably. And if I decide to, I can quit my job, I can go out and I can quit recovery and go get high anytime I want to. They never lock the doors anywhere I've ever been, even in a transitional house. But for the first time in my life, I have my own house, I have my own dog, and I'm completely happy with being there by myself. Because every time I've ever relapsed, I'd like to say it's because of a woman, but the truth is, it's because I feel lonely or I want to cover some kind of emotion that I don't recognize. And when I don't recognize an emotion, I get uncomfortable. When I get uncomfortable, I seek a solution that's always been there before, and sometimes I'll lie to myself and say, I'm just going to shoot a game of pool, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that, but I put myself in a situation where the option is there, and I will not do that today anyway.
You just wait on me, I'd shut up a long time ago.
Good stuff. Appreciate it. You know, that was real, and that's good. Thank you. Thank you, and I appreciate everybody's input and the music and all the different input, all your different comments. Thank you. And you know, this topic tonight, it was about their mission. We talked about his mission, but what's your mission? What's your mission? That you have to figure out what that is. How about that? All right? So, may the Lord bless you and keep you, and may his face shine upon you and give you his peace. Right? And make healthy choices.
Make healthy choices, yeah.
If you're going to make a choice, make it healthy, right? It works out better for you. So, till next week.